This is video number 6, and this is just going to be a follow-up to video number 5. I wanted to elaborate a little more on this chart, in which it consists of the Nuremberg executions, Israel becoming a nation and going to war, and the armistice, which happened as a result of the War of Independence, and how it shows that it's all interrelated, really, to what happened on Passover on 4/3/33, and I believe that this chart will demonstrate that this indeed was the Passover crucifixion date and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and how it relates to what happened in 1948 and 1949. And so I on this chart, I'm just going to go over a couple things, which I already have in a previous video, but I laid it out in a kind of a clear chart, and I'm going to try to explain here what I see is happening, and how it's very prophetic in nature. And so the first thing, again, is with all these charts, is what I believe is the importance of what happened at the Nuremberg executions on 10/16/1946, and then the next day on 10/17/1946 at sunset would have been the conclusion of the 8th day, or the Great Day, as it's called, or 8th Day Assembly. Again, on 10/16/1946, it was the 7th day of Sukkot, and how you really have here, in many aspects, a closing of time, not only from what happened at the executions, but the biblical dates also demonstrate that this is very much a closing of a period and a restarting of a cycle. And this cycle of time, which I'm speaking of, in all of its units, it's 25920 is the common denominator with all these different times, and it's just at different scales. And here are some of those scales I've been speaking of. This is in years. This is a precession of the equinox, as it's often referred to. This is months. It's one complete molad cycle. This is 25920 days, which is 72 prophetic years. And again, within this system, right here, this molad cycle system, one day has 25,920 units. And again, I'm going to go back to another chart right now and demonstrate that this cycle rate right here, it's every 72 days is equal to 1 degree. And here's this other chart, which I've shown many times. And again, 72 days equals 1 degree. At this scale, all right, it's 864 months. And so I'm going to start right here at the Nuremberg executions again. And the day count between that event and right here is May 14th, 15th, 1948. This is when Israel declared its statehood, or it's declared its intentions to become a nation. And immediately it went to war, which was the War of Independence. So I'm using both of these dates here because they kind of really go together. And so the day count is precisely 576 days. I tried to find something that made sense with this number right here that would indicate this is some divine working. You cannot find anything with this date, or I couldn't, or with this day count. But within this system right here, where every 72 days is equal to 1 degree, and everything starting off this, okay, 576 days represents 8 degrees. Now 8 really stands out in the biblical numerology, as 8 being significant of regeneration, new beginnings, rebirth, and you're also coming off the 8th day the last great day. And so 8 within this system has huge meaning behind it, because what happened here, because it was in fact the regeneration or rebirth of the nation of Israel. I mean, God made that promise, and so what happened here, 8 degrees would indicate that this indeed is very prophetic in nature, and I will also demonstrate here how when you come off this date of May 14th, 1948, May 15th, 1948, when you go forward in time another 5 degrees, or 1 prophetic year, okay, 5, because it's really the degrees here that seem to be an indicator. 5 degrees is often associated in the Bible with the grace of God. And so when you come forward, again, we're starting everything over here, and so 1 prophetic year after this event on May 14th and 15th, 1948, or 5 degrees, takes you to May 8th, 1949. Okay, and I'm going to talk about this date. I'm going to talk about the 27th day of the Omer again. So this is kind of just again a refresher of what happened on or what I explained on video 5, but I laid it out in a little more easier to see format. And so essentially what you have then after you come off this event, 5 degrees, what you have is you have a splitting of time, and so if you come back in time, essentially 72 or 73 days, or 73.5 days, you come to the first armistice with Egypt. And again, I think that is very prophetic in nature too, that Egypt was the first to come into armistice. And Syria, okay, Syria was the last, and that happened on 7/20/1949. The Egyptian armistice with Israel happened on 2/24/1949. And so what happens here, not only are you coming off 1 prophetic year, but then this date on 5/8/1949, it's splitting the first and the last armistice. So there's many things going on here with May 8th. And then it's this period right here that's very significant, because after this center point, you come ahead 3 days, and it takes you to the 27th day of the Omer, which started on 5 at sunset, 5/10/1949, to 5/11/1949. 5/11/1949 was the day that the Gentile nations accepted Israel as a nation within the UN, and I believe that was a hugely prophetic day, just as this was. But this would indicate what's happening here from the center point. Again, it's the center point between the first and the last armistice, and it's exactly 1 prophetic year after this event. So you have at least a couple indicators here that this is a very important date. But it's when it's happening here that it's even more important, because essentially, you know, as I described in the other video, the significance of 27 is that there's 27. The New Testament is a collection of books, its volume is 27. And so within this system, or within these scales, 27 days is equal to 699,840 units. Each day is comprised of 25,920 units. It's within this molad system. Okay, and so essentially what you're counting back to here, because we're going to go back in time, is we're counting back to the first lunar tetrad of 1949, which was on Passover. So you're counting back 27 cycles from the 27th day of the Omer. You're counting back to Passover. Okay, and so this is the total accumulated units that you would have on the 27th day of the Omer, that would take you back to Passover. All right, and so and this is at the smaller scale. And so when you count back from this period right here, so you have the center point, and you have the 27th day. There's really a 3-day period here. So now we're coming back 27 cycles of 25,920 days. Okay, and this is what I've been talking about the whole time. Is it's 27 of these cycles. This whole time frame here, it's 27 of these. All right, or 27 times 864 months, if you can do it that way. But when you count back the same cycle here at a different scale, it's the same number. Counting back to Passover, this is units, this is days, and so when you count back to 27 cycles at this larger scale, it takes you right here. It takes you to 33 AD, and again, not only is this one of the primary dates for the possible date of the crucifixion of Jesus, there was also a lunar eclipse on that date, just as there is when you count back here to this Passover. All right, and so this period would be the as a possible date of the crucifixion, and this would be the resurrection period here. There's 3 days, and so you can see how both of these periods, you're counting back to Passover, and so I believe, and I've never seen anybody demonstrate this before, and so I think it's profoundly, hugely prophetic. And this, even though there's a couple dates or primary dates for the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus, if anybody could explain it better than this and demonstrate it, that this isn't the date, I'd like to see it, because I've never seen it before. After 3 years, of research, I've never seen anything that would demonstrate what happened here is directly connected to this period right here. Without a doubt, it is. And many people who understand this system would have no trouble accepting what's happening here. And how the 27th day of the Omer, you would have an accumulation of this many units. Okay, people are going to accept that because but they're probably not going to, they're probably not going to see the connection here, or won't want to. But there definitely is. There's absolutely a connection between what happened here and when you see the bigger picture. It's really, strong prophetic indication that this period is absolutely directly related to this period, but only on a different scale. And as I explained before in the other video, I mean, there's certainly a lot more going on here. I could include the last lunar eclipse on Sukkot, and how this is all connected, and I've explained it in other videos. And so what I'm saying here is that what happened is that you have primarily 5 entities coming together, okay, and neither one of these, neither Israel, the United Nations, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, and Egypt are Christian nations, and would have no reason to try to make this come out this way, and you can see what happened here. And I don't believe at all that these nations and this entity here would have any reason, and we're conspiring, to make this happen. Again, it's almost impossible to believe that would even be the case. But as you can see what happened here, it's I think beyond a coincidence, and it has the fingerprint, I believe, of God behind it. And so I just wanted to show this and demonstrate this in a better graph. And so hopefully within the next week I'll have a video number 7, and I'll get back to how it seems that Barack Obama, both him and I'll say Prince William, certainly fit into this you know, and I'm going to really get into some details about how those two people, and there's probably others, but if this is indeed, and I believe it is, prophetic, that then certainly Barack Obama and both him and Prince William are directly, you know, related to what's going on here in different ways, and I'll be demonstrating that in more detail on video number 7. So God bless, take care,